24 minus
Right, 24
minus 25 over 4,
over 4.
negative 1 over 4.
On the last step, remember the completed square form is a, that's a in brackets x plus h squared plus k. We already know that a is 1, so we don't need to put 1 there. Let me just put it first. Right, you put back your x, h is 512, so that's what you write here, 512 squared. K is minus 4, minus a quarter, so that's what you put here, minus a quarter. But like I said, you don't need to put the 1 there. So the answer, in this case, if I wanted you to complete the square, this would be the answer. In brackets, x plus 512 squared minus a quarter. Everybody understands that? This is just a quick recap.
Yes,
so
miss.
if you explain, all right, thanks. And okay, let me go back to the slide. Okay, so quadratic graphs. First, if they give you see this just now. Actually, let me show you now. Right. So sometimes, so this is paper 2, 2018. So, oh my. Sometimes, so this is question 2, part A. This is usually where the completed square form and the graphs and all that comes in. So part 2A, part 1, given that g of x is minus x squared plus x minus 3, express g of x in the form ax plus h squared plus k, where a, h, and k are constants, right? That's completed the square. This is part 1 of that question. Part 2 is to sketch a graph. So all I wanted you to see here is how these two questions are usually linked. So now let me go back to these. Right. So first, the question above would ask you to complete the square. So that's where you find your h and your k values, right? If they ask you to find the minimum, like when you sketch a graph, they ask you to identify the minimum or maximum value, that's just k. So say when I completed the first part, my answer when I completed the square was 3 x plus 5 squared minus 1. We know that 5 is h. Let me just write it. A plus k. 5 in this case would be h, and minus 1 would be my k. So if they wanted me to find the minimum, in this case, okay, hold on. Is it a minimum or would it be a minimum or a maximum curve in this case? Just look at the bottom here. And now tell me, based on this, would it be a minimum or maximum curve?
Minimum.
Minimum. Nice. So look at for my minimum value, if they ask me for the minimum value in this case, all I have to do is look at k. So if they ask for minimum value, my minimum value is minus 1. Everybody understands that? That's if they ask you to identify the minimum value. You see it's in a question just now. So everybody understands how to find the minimum or maximum value?
Yes, miss.
Cool. So minimum or maximum point. So part A, you have to complete the square. So this is my completed square form. 5 squared minus 1. So this is, say this was A part I. And in the second part, they tell me to find the maximum or minimum point. That's also called the vertex. You already said this is a minimum graph. So this will be the minimum point. The minimum point the coordinates is minus h, k. We said that 5 is h and minus 1 is k. So if I wanted minus hk, what would the coordinate be? This is h and this is k.
-5 positive 1.
H is equal to 5 and k is minus 1. The k doesn't change, it remains the same. So this would remain minus 1. Everybody understands that? I'll do another one. But everybody understands this?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Do one more just to make sure. So say in the first part, just like we saw 2a part 1, say that it was 4x plus 7 minus a half. No, this is squared, right? So 4x plus 7 squared minus a half. Can anybody tell me what is h and what is k in this case?
H is 7 and K is negative a half.
Is negative a half. So knowing that h is 7 and k is negative a half, if they wanted me to find the minimum point, because a is positive in this case, so it would be a minimum point. If they wanted me to find the minimum point, aka the vertex, what would my answer be? The coordinate.
-7, comma, 1, -1/2.
Good job. Everybody understands that?
Yes, miss.
Okay. They could also, when sketching a graph, you would have to include the y-intercept as well. So the y-intercept, all you have to do is look at C. Not right? So say my quadratic. If they wanted me to put my y-intercept, so say ax squared plus bx plus c. All I have to do is look at my p-value, and that's my intercept. Right? I'll show you that soon. See? Okay. And the last one. They might ask you to find your roots by completing this claim. So let me go to the whiteboard and example. So say the completed square form is this plus 5 squared minus 1 is equal to 0. If I wanted to solve, meaning I want to find the values of x using the completed square form, anybody could tell me what's the first thing I would do? We did this one already. We did questions like these already. What's the first thing I would do? What's the first thing I would carry across if I wanted to start solving for x?
-1.
So what would I write here? Okay. What's the next thing I would do?
Divided by 3.
So what would I write here?
X plus 5 squared is equal to 1/3.
What's the next thing I would do?
You would remove the square from the x plus 5 and you do that by cube roots and you wanted.
Not cube rooting.
Sorry, square root.
Yeah. So it would be x plus 5 square root. But remember, I told you whenever square rooting, unless they say otherwise, like they say x is only positive numbers or natural numbers, whole numbers, when square root in a number is always plus or minus. So the next thing I would do, I will minus 5 from both sides. So that means that x is equal to plus or minus the square root of a third minus 5. This is just an example I came up with. Most times you get 9 whole numbers. So it's okay. Everybody cool with that on how to solve it? How to solve x?
Yes, miss.
All right, this right here is something I added in after. Oh my god. All right, this is something I added in after. So if they ask you to find the axis of symmetry, look at the diagram here. The axis of symmetry, you know, line of symmetry cuts a shape into equal parts. So the axis of symmetry comes straight down the center of the graph. So it splits it in half. This is one half, and this is the other half. If they ever ask you to find the axis of symmetry, the formula is x is equal to minus b on 2a. Or you just look at your coordinates and it's the minus h, whatever you had for minus h. So say my coordinate was minus 3, 15. They ask for my axis of symmetry, what it would be, x is equal to minus 3. Everybody understands that? Yes, no, maybe. This is something new. I didn't teach this before. I had to add this in after. So you understand? If you don't, I will explain to you.
Yes, I understand.
I need at least 2 marks. Come on. Okay. Let me just.
Miss, you said something.
Oh, I asked if everybody understood that.
Oh, yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Nature of roots. If they ask me to find the nature of the roots, I use the formula b squared minus 4ac, and that's known as the discriminant. If my quadratic is 3x squared, that's an x. 3x squared plus 4x plus 5 is equal. A would be 3. A would be 3. B would be 4. And C would be 5. If they ask me to find the nature of the roots of this quadratic, all I have to do is plug it into this formula here. Plug it into this formula here. So in this case, if I was actually doing a question, b squared minus 4ac, so that would be 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5. And if, when I find the value for this, if the value is greater than 0, then that means the nature of my roots, I have 2 real and distinct roots. If the answer I get when I finish all this is equal to 0, that means I have 2 real and equal or repeated roots. And if my answer is less than 0, that means I have no real roots or I have 2 imaginary roots. And this is how it would look. So remember, that was from the first PowerPoint, roots, or wherever the graph cuts the x-axis. So in this case, this point, that's two real roots. That's an example of A. A. B. If I have 2 real repeated roots, this is my root right here. And I should show you that. Let me show you what that means. When I say equal or repeated roots, that just means that okay, wrong PowerPoint. If I say two real and repeated roots, if I wanted to say I wanted to solve this quadratic and find the values of x, the values of x would be the same. So say I get x plus 5 and x is equal to 5. The values are the same. Everybody understands that? Like I explained this before, but if you need me to do it again, I will.
No, miss, I understand.
Everybody?
Yes, miss.
And b squared minus 4ac, if it's less than 0, it has no real roots. That means it does not touch my x-axis at all. This is the x-axis. And you could see that this graph does not touch this line at all. That means it has no real roots or two imaginary roots. And if I want, in this case, if I was actually doing this question, 4 squared is 16, and then this is minus 16. Right? So we could tell that this answer would obviously be less than 0. So my answer for this case would be no real roots or no imaginary roots. That's if they ask me to find the nature of the roots. Everybody understands that, right?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
And these are examples that we did. And this is all the formula that you need. Right. So now that we reviewed that, do you want to do the quiz first or past papers first? It's your choice.
Quiz first.
Quiz. That's one for quiz. Anybody else?
Let's see, Christmas.
Quiz. All right. Quiz. Nobody else? All right. And quiz it is.
Miss, you sounded soft.
Oh, we're doing the quiz now. You hear me now?
Yeah, miss.
Yes. So click that link to join the quiz. Missing 2 people. Okay, one more person. And then we could start. Okay, so who didn't join yet? I need to start. Okay, let me just start. Sorry to bother you, but the meeting is gonna end just now, so rejoin whenever you finish.